Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 218. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Toy Lei. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Now, for people who want to know what... I almost said my old... I used to say uncensored. Uncensored was my old name. For people who want to know what the KeithAndrewNetWork is, it's basically... I'm showing people that even if having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities or disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still mount to something no matter what. Labels do not dictate who you gotta be and who you gotta are. Labels do not dictate who you are or who you're going to be. And basically, we have this one life, one platform to show people, say, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and then you prove to those naysayers you can send them out to something. With that being said, it's a half hour of your time, half hour, 45 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. But starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm mostly an actor. I have actually branched out into directing, and my main, even though I auditioned for lots of different types, my intended goal is towards action films.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, before we get into the hard-hitting questions, I'll pass the show over to you. One, I like that poster behind you. It's really cool. Crossing Tiger.
This is the template for all of my movies, right there.
Great movie.
Good action, good acting, good art. I mean, it really hit the trifecta. That's how I try to make all of my movies now.
No, absolutely. It's a way to be. And I love your hat, by the way.
I'm an idiot sometimes, man.
Hey, you gotta express yourself, you know?
Yeah. Sadly, it is the story of my life.
Now, I'm gonna ask you some easy questions and some hard-hitting ones. And then I'll pass it over to you with your support and a good cause and making a new friend out of it. So it's a win-win. What can you tell us about yourself when you were growing up? What was your life like, number one? And when you were in high school and college, did you do any sports? Were you a party animal?
Those are... I expected more hard-hitting questions, Keith.
Well, those were the easy ones.
Oh, God, those are the easy ones. Okay, so I gotta... let me start with them. What was my life like growing up? My parents were immigrants, Chinese, and I'm an ABC, an American-born Chinese. So my first language was Chinese up until like 5, when I started watching Sesame Street and had to go to American schools, and then I started learning English. So I grew up pretty much in a fairly traditional Chinese American family. All the stereotypes do apply with me, so that's why I never really diss stereotypes, because for some reason in my life they exist for a reason. I had that typical fight with parents about like what I wanted to do with my life. They wanted me to be a doctor. Of course. I didn't want to, and that resulted in decades of turmoil. And I literally mean decades. Decades of turmoil. In high school and in college, I was a couch potato, which people, if you know me now, tend to really disbelieve that, because with the action films and stuff, I'm not the greatest stunt person in the world, but I do train 6 days a week to be the best action person I can be on screen. So they're like, "What? You used to be a cat?" And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah! I used, week and couchy. That's what I used to be.
No, same here. I was a part of the audiovisual department, and you can't compare me to, well, I use this for a perfect example. My 10-year reunion's coming up, and I've been reaching out people from the class of 2006, or 5 and 4 and 3, and I was like, look, I'm not the same person who I once was, and I basically was reaching out because, one, I need people for my talk show. 2, I'm looking for a closer. I did a lot of stupid things, and like, oh, you're blah blah blah's brother, or blah blah blah's sister. We know a bunch of you. You're all nuts. And it's kind of like, and I was always the guy walking around with the camera. I was always doing like this, making videos. And there was a couple other stupid rumors about me. And make a long story short, basically, this girl flirted with me. And I called her hun, she flipped out, and she called me a stalker. Make a long story short. So that ruined anything I was going for my end of my junior year. My senior year was a wreck because I was handcuffed. Not actually handcuffed, but handcuffed as in we don't trust you, we don't trust you as far as we can throw you. So if I'm making videos, doing lights and sound, just helping out at the shows to, okay, you can help out, but we have to watch you. And it's kind of like, where's the proof? If you have proof or the evidence, then there's something. Right now, you have some nut job and making up something, like, whoa, you know, we always have to side with the women because women are rights. Anyway, I know that BS. But, you know, she was crazy. I have no idea whatever happened to her. But the joke's on her. Yeah, I'm becoming famous now. And she's basically a fat nobody. And, you know, it's funny. But you're a perfect example if this happened to you. You look at all the hot guys you went to school with. And for me, all the hot girls I went to school with. And you're like, oh, these people have potential. They're going to be supermodels. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. But it's funny. But you think about it, they're fat, lazy, and they have kids now. And the people who were told that you were never going to amount to anything, that I was going to be a burden, I was going to be put into a group home, whatever people want to throw at you. Look at what I'm doing. So it's kind of funny that people who seem to have something don't have it, and the people who don't have it do have it. If that makes any sense.
Well, I think it's just, and I say this all the time, you can change your life every day. You can change your life in any moment to be somebody different or to do something different. There are so many opportunities to change yourself for the better if you want, or not for the better, or just to make different choices in every microsecond. And if you choose to do that, you choose to do that. And some people make different choices. And I don't actually like to judge people's choices because, for example, I would love to have a family and kids, right. And I don't. You know what I mean? That was a choice that I had made, and I have several friends who have families and kids, and sometimes I wish I had that. You know, they look at me and say, "Wow, I love your," you inspire me, and I'm like, well, but I wish I had your family and I wish I had your kids. You know, so it's not, I'm not judging their choices. I'm not, the only thing that we can only ever do as humans is to always be better about choosing, really being honest about ourselves and really being honest about our choices and choosing things that are truly come from our heart and not from a socially molded mind or or your parents' choices, for example. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and never to judge other people's choices, because you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't live with them. You don't see how they live, or what they look like, or what their pressures that they have to deal with. So they're making choices based upon their how they're living their home lives and whatnot. So it's really, really, like I said, I try, not that I'm always successful at it, but I try not to judge people's choices, because I do know that there are things that I would like to have that my friends who don't necessarily, who don't, they didn't choose a public life, but they have a great private life,
No, absolutely. And, I don't usually hold grudges unless they do something to really piss me off. But, like I said, you're opening up to me, I'm opening up to you. It's a good cause, make a new friend. But going back to my high school reunion, I just was basically looking for closure. That's all basically I was. And some people are like, yeah, I was a stupid kid back then. I made some dumb choices.
We were all stupid kids back then, Keith. I was probably one of the stupidest, I promise you.
And there are some people that said, I will never forgive you, and whatever happened, happened. It's 10 years ago. Move on. It's kind of like, I give you a perfect example. I don't mean to bitch to you. I apologize. We can talk about something else, but, I don't want to complain too.
It's alright. Whatever you want to talk about, man.
I came up with the morning show. And basically what the morning show was, in my school, we had televisions. And each room had a TV. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if we had a morning show? You can give students college credit. You can make a class out of it. How you can be professional. You do whatever with it. You want to become an actor. You can use it because we had acting, we had drama and everything. You have it, use it. Guy said to me, okay, go ahead. Unfortunately, 10 years ago, I'm not who I was today. Well, I was, but I was in a nutshell. I was basically expressing myself, but close quarters, if that makes any sense. And, I wasn't expanding. And I didn't know who to talk to. And basically, long story short, the group of other people came across, and they came up with the idea, and they took it. And I patched up with a couple of them, but there's just one guy that refuses to let the past be the past. And I'm like, it's 10 years ago. I apologize for whatever stupidity I did, but for some reason you're holding it against me. Okay, that makes whatever logical sense, but whatever. But like, you can't please everyone. There's things I went back in time, and people say I'm morbid. If given a chance to do my life over, yeah, I would do it over. This exact life, do it over, and there's things I would like to see differently. But what about you? Would you do your life over given the opportunity, knowing everything you know now?
You know what? I used to want to. There were times definitely that I used to want to. And now I realize that everything that I've experienced, the good and the bad and the stuff I'm not proud of that I've done, this totally stupid shit that I've done, has all kind of made me who I am today. And I'll tell you this, Keith. I like the person I am today. All of it. The good parts, the bad parts. I like the person I am today. I've made peace with myself. And honestly, you can't... I've also realized that when you get to when you get to this point where when you like the person that you are, right? Then you really realize that you could not have become this person without the bad parts. The bad parts. They're not even bad, you know. They're. It's what my acting coach used to call information gathering days. There's your good days, and then there's your information gathering days. You know, to help you. Everything that happens to you is a lesson to help you become the person that you want to be. Okay, it helps you, in your case, be a better host. You know, think about all the things the crappy parts, you know, and now look what you've become. I promise you, if you hadn't gone through those crappy parts, you wouldn't be sitting in that chair right now. You know what I mean?
That's true. And if
right?
I didn't have a learning disability, I'd probably be.
You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't be sitting in that chair right now. Okay. Now, who knows what you might have been, but who cares? Because right now, I think that you really enjoy being the host of your own show, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then why would you give that up? Why would you give up any of those experiences that you had that you think are bad experiences? Why would you give that up if that's what contributed to letting you sit in that chair? Right? So yeah, I mean, I definitely have had, you know, I was bullied in high school, like you wouldn't believe.
No, I can believe it. I was bullied too.
It was awful. I mean, you know, it was terrible. But you know, and there were days of, you know, contemplating, you know, why don't I just kill myself, because no one seems to care that I exist on this planet. Really that bad. But you know, I go back and I think about it. You know, if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now,
right,
loving my life. I love my life. I love what I do. You know, so I mean, even today, I was driving the car. I started crying because I was like, it was tears of happiness, by the way, of how much I loved my life and how lucky of a person that I was that I could have the life that I have. That would not have happened without all the stupid shit.
No, absolutely. You know, one thing, so I'm trying to find, you know, what train of thought. I did have panic attacks when I was younger, but to make a long story short, I worked in retail, and basically it got into the point where it took me a whole year to recover. And I can tell you this story some other time, if you're interested. But I got sick of it. It took me a whole year to recover. And I just said, you know, I'm just using my disability as a crutch. Can't go to college. I can't have a normal job. I can't do this. I can't do that. And one day I was like, screw it. You know, I'm tired of people dictating my life, setting things up for me, setting limits for myself. You know, you talk about, I came up with two things called the glass ceiling and a wish scenario. The glass ceiling is you're going to go as high as they want you to, and once you start, you know, like the Doors, once you start breaking through to the other side, you know, people start looking at you like, hey, is he ready? Is he capable? And it isn't just me. It could be you. Is she ready? Is she capable of doing it? And once you break onto the other side, it's one of those things like, are you ready? And then there's the wish scenario, where here's the wish, and you gotta go. And you're gonna say, okay, we gave you all this room, let's see what you do with it, and make sure you don't hang yourself with it. And for the most part, sometimes I hang myself with it. I got stupid things I do. I kind of do stupidity on a daily basis. But I'm a good person. I do stupid things, but I do the right thing. So I'm like a yin-yang. I'm good and evil, up and down. I balance myself out. But I have a good heart. And, the wish scenario, glass ceiling, the brass rings, whatever, you want to use. It's basically just saying, you're taking that first step. And then you climb the ladder. Then, I think the ladder one's easier. First, you're at the bottom. You were born. And the first step is growing up. Then it's school. Then it's education. Then it's experiences. And I think I'm at the middle of the ladder right now. I don't know how big ladders are. But you're a perfect example of that. You started at the bottom, and now you are one of the biggest, soon to be one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. You are an extra, and like I said, this is not about me. This is about you. So I'm going to ask you some hard-hitting ones, and I will pass the show to you, wrapping up.
I can't wait. Let's hear them. Hit me, baby.
So the first one is Hollywood racist? And does being Asian hurt you for you can't get certain parts, or does it help you get certain parts?
Let me just say this. Hollywood is changing.
Yes.
I think, there's all this uproar and whatnot, and I am certainly, if you look at any of my posts, I am certainly all about, fighting the underrepresentation of my people, my peeps, Having said that, I also understand how corporate America works.
Right.
You have a tiny little sports car, and it will spin on a dime. You have a tractor, and no matter how hard you turn that damn steering wheel, it's going to take a long time to turn that tractor around. You talk about independent films, they cast blindly very quickly. You talk about network stuff, studio stuff, they don't. Not because they don't want to, because it's like turning a tractor. Does that make sense? I have a mentor at NBC. I have met several studio people. They want to change it. Now, it was very weird because it wasn't like that when I first got here, but I mean, the attitude is completely different in the past 5 years. They want to change it, but it takes time. It takes time to develop roles for the the underrepresented. It takes time to change the process. There's a large process here in Hollywood. It's not, you don't just show up on the bus and expect to be a star the next day. I mean, that's the most ridiculous myth, that exists today. And, all of us veteran actors, and I mean actors who've been in the biz for at least 10 years, know that. And we laugh at the newbies who come off the bus who just expect to be, make me a star tomorrow. No, that's not how it works. You got to pay your dues. That might happen. It happens 1 in 10 million people. I'm not even kidding. It's like the lottery. I think actually hitting the lottery is easier. But yes, it is. And let me put it this way. Okay, I finally realized this. It totally made sense. Hollywood is a union town, right? You got your SAG union, you got your Teamster union, you got your PGA, your DGA, everything is unionized. Like all the legit shows, like the network shows, the blockbuster feature films. Not even the blockbuster, but the $10 million, the $1 million, the $800,000 features are all unionized. You got to remember that the people who have union jobs. Say I got into the business 20 years ago or some guy or gal got into the business. When they were 25, they got when I'm in business, they got into the union when they were 25.
Right.
They still have, what's our retirement? 40 years of working that they've got to go, right? They can go. So think about it. It's not like they're going to quit their job. Everyone in this business loves being in this business because you have to. Because if you don't love the art of what you're doing, the acting or the directing or the gripping or the crewing, don't do this business. It's really hard. It's like heartbreaking hard. Okay, so you have to really love it. So when you finally get in the union and you're finally working, do you think they're going to give up their job? No, you have to wait till they either die off or retire at 65. So that's 40 years you have to wait so that you can get your foot in the door. Does that make sense what I'm saying? It's like it's all full of union people. All of these network shows are all full of union people who've been working on network shows for. They're not going to fire the union people because they've been. And you know what? They're really good. They deserve to be there. I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there, but this is the turnaround time I'm talking about. It's not like they're not thinking about it. It's like they can't also just cut off the union, the workers that have been working for them and been loyal to them for 20 years just so you can have a job based upon whatever. Just based upon, your skill. You just got out of film school. You know what I mean? You does that make sense what I'm saying?
No,
it's like it's a giant tractor that you have to turn around, and no doubt when a position opens up, they're trying to fill it. They're not blinded. They're not just like just go get the white guy or just go get the white girl or just get the girl. They're not blinded to it, but also it's kind of like this thing where it's a business where you really need high performers in every position. You cannot just get some person who just does this as a job.
Right.
It's not that kind of business. You have to the person has to be the kind of person who loves and this is not just their job that they go to. Because we do 12-hour days, we do 16-hour days, and then we turn around and we come back and do it the next day. And you have to be, and that goes on for months, So you have to love that job. Otherwise, if you're complaining about your 8-hour day job, then don't think that you can complain about this. Did you hear what I'm saying? So everybody in this business has to love their job. Otherwise, don't show up because there's someone else who wants the job.
No, absolutely.
There's someone who loves it. I also used to think that, Hollywood's just a bunch of white dudes who want it. No, I've seen what's going on, as I'm getting more, as I've been given more opportunities, I have been given more opportunities. It's crazy the amount of, I went out for auditions more in this one last year than I've ever been out in the past 10 years, all combined. That could be number one, I'm getting better as an actor. I might actually be improving as an actor. My skills they've been seasoned a little bit. But also number two, the opportunities have been out there. There are more opportunities. They're not, I want even more opportunities, the ones that are the action roles for, women over 35, which is basically vaporware. That doesn't exist. So I'm trying to break that ground. So, and then you put Asian on top of that, well, that's another thing I have to break through. But, but for example, a perfect example is, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, the whole thing with Doctor Strange. I'm sure you know about Doctor Strange, the whole hoopla about that. Yeah? Keith,
Not really.
You know about that? Okay, so the Marvel comic book Doctor Strange. They have Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange. He looks fantastic playing, and he looks amazing. He looks just like Doctor Strange, and he looks fantastic. He's a fantastic actor. He's one of my favorites. But they hired Tilda Swinton as the ancient mystic, who in the comic books, if you read, is a Tibetan man. So therefore, of Asian descent, and they hired Tilda Swinton, a white a pure lily white woman to play this. Now, I get it. I'm cool with the woman part. I am not cool with the white lady part. Now, you might say, okay, well, we needed another name in that role. You know, Tilda. I love Tilda. I think she's a great actress. You know, but the thing with Tilda is that, you know, she's not like Benedict. She has a following. It's a cult following, but she doesn't have that popular following. Like, I don't know if you know who Tilda Swinton is, but she has and you recognize her face, or I recognize her, but you know, maybe some people don't recognize her face. She does have a cult following, but she does not have a popular cult following like Benedict does. So she's not really a name. And then if you think about it, it's like, well, the reason why I'm especially bitter about that is just because, well, we didn't have an Asian name. I'm like, you don't need a name. You just need someone who plays the part really well in that role. Because Tilda's not really a name. You know, she's a name, but she's a cult name. And if you had someone playing that part, you know, and especially someone who really kind of studies action and action movement and movement skills for performance, specifically for the camera. It was really, you know, that trailer that came out. If you watch a trailer, you know, it's clear to me that she doesn't really have that kind of martial arts background, and it shows in her movements, just in that trailer. And as someone who trains 6 days a week, specifically for camera, and trains acting specifically for camera all the time, it bothers me. Right. It bothers me that I wasn't even brought in to read. I can, you know, if you say, oh, well, Toy, nobody knows her, you know, okay, fine. Oh, she's too green, you know, because Tilda definitely has way more experience than I have. Oh, Toy, she's too green. I can get with those. I can get with those reasons. But if you don't even bring me in to try me for this role, that's a mistake. You know, so yes, I have a problem with that. It's a big hoop. It caused a big hoopla amongst Asian Americans, and for me particular, just because that one hit home. Because that is a role that anyone who knows me knows that I would have killed it.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up, I'm going to ask you two big questions. But actually, first off, you know, what was your honest opinion? I agree with you with what you said. Absolutely. If you're not going to do something right, don't do it at all. And that brings me to the first question. Do you think this generation has to pussyfoot around, saying you can't offend the Muslims, you can't offend the Asians, you can't offend the black people? If you're going to do something right, and I'll give you a perfect example, but do it right. And the reason how I'm going to get to that, without rambling, is look at Iron Man 3. Look at the Mandarin. The guy would have been great. You watch the trailer, that's the best part of the whole freaking movie. It's Ben Kingsley doing the voice. And then they crap out of it because we didn't want to offend the Chinese. Then why did you do the Chinese person? When you could have made him something else. You could have made him black or something. You could have made him Arabic. No, you can't offend this. You can't offend that. And I'm like, then why are you?
No, I do think that we are very, very dangerous. Very, very close to that danger line of trying to be politically correct.
Yeah.
I have offended several people on my Facebook posts because I am not a politically correct person at all.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah, and so you know, but you know, I think what it comes down to is that in order to break stereotypes, in order to go beyond stereotypes, you know, stereotypes exist. And I'm going to say a politically incorrect thing right now, and I've said this since the beginning of time. Stereotypes exist for a reason. Because they exist. Yeah. You know? Like, my parents wanted me to be a doctor. That's a stereotype. What do you want me to say about that? I'm not going to lie. You know? Every friggin' Chinese parent who's an immigrant wants their kid to be a doctor. And okay, so when I say every, by the way, I mean like the 80-20 rule. 80% the generalistic and 20 whatever. Wants their kid to be a doctor. All my cousins are all doctors. No joke. Okay? That's how it is. So many of my ABC friends growing up are doctors. So 80-20, every meaning 80-20, immigrant Chinese family wants their kid. Okay, so maybe not be a doctor, but how about a lawyer? That kind of a thing. Or how about an engineer or a professor? That kind of a thing. So stereotypes exist for a reason. Now, if you want to break beyond those stereotypes, that's totally great. But they do exist for a reason, and I am always politically incorrect about stereotypes, and the only way you can, the only thing I do go back on sometimes I say things that might not be factual, and then I go back and do some fact checking, which I should probably fact check before I write anything or post anything. But sometimes I just get so passionate and passionate about the subject, I just type stuff out, and then I have to, oh damn, I got to go back and do some fact checking and really get that verbiage right. But yeah, I mean, it's dangerous to walk that kind of politically correct line. It really is dangerous, because then you're all saying that we can't do this because we don't offend that. We can't do this because we don't offend that. Well, you know what? Offend them. In my opinion, it's the only way we can grow and think. Just be very open and communicative about it, and make sure it comes from a place of love and not a place of judgment. No. When that happens, it becomes easy.
Absolutely. One of my favorite actresses, wrapping up, one of my favorite actresses, actually I'm going to pass it to you after I say this one thing. One of my favorite actresses on Trini from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. For a long time, I was thinking about writing a book about her. I didn't know how to go about that. So I used her saber-toothed tiger out of respect, out of love and respect. But she said, her parents wanted her to be an engineer. And by coincidence or by chance, a producer came across her, and she became an actress. And like you were saying, how the industry has changed, because Trini was only able to do like nails or hair, or work at a spa. Or she was great in The Crow too. The movie might have been a piece of shit, but she was the best part out of the whole movie. She was terrific in Crow too. And for yourself, you're saying how it changed over the 20 years. It's a small cycle. And for me, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, saying we don't want any handicaps, we don't want any people with disabilities, but look at it now, they are hiring people with disabilities. Look at Breaking Bad, look at RJ, who was the son in Breaking Bad. He's a perfect example of that. And I'm glad it's changing, but at the same time, I'm hoping it's changing for the better, not for the worse.
Well, I don't think you can, I don't think that, honestly, I think it's too soon to judge. And we are also, I mean, as an actor, I try not to judge either. I always try to really just always show up and do my best work. If I show up and do my best work and be true to what I want to do, then I think it's fine. Otherwise, I can always not accept the job. I can always not take the role. I can always, for example, a great example is like I've asked my representation not to send me out for any manicurist roles anymore. They're a bore to me. Of course, on the other hand, if you do a manicurist who's a serial killer and is a lead,
Yeah.
I'm happy to take a look at that. You know,
That would be a good story, by the way.
Yeah, let's talk about that. But don't send me in for a one-liner manicurist anymore. It's just, or even a two-pager manicurist anymore. It's just a bore for me. And so that's a perfect example of me just not wanting to. I'm not taking that job. But send me in for the cop, detective, the killer mom. I'm going to kill that audition. And I'm going to kill that role if you give it to me.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking, I'm short on time.
Ah, that's cool.
But I didn't mean any disrespect at all. I'm going to give you the top 2 questions. Anything you want to ask me while wrapping up?
No, I mean, I think over time I'll probably have questions to ask you as our friendship builds and we do more interviews and I get to know you better, you get to know me better. But that friendships do take a long time to build and whatnot, so I'm always in for the long haul.
All right, yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, I don't usually do my interviews late, so it's kind of threw me off my whole schedule.
No. It's just going to be. It's already turning out to be a crazy summer. I've got a film called Boxer that's in a bunch of festivals. We just found out we're going to Comic-Con. We're doing Etheria Film Night, which is an outrageously awesome one of the best festivals that we could have hoped to have gotten into. And then I'm shooting another film right now that I'm directing, and we've got pickups tomorrow, and then I'm recurring on 1.5 shows, and I just booked another one yesterday. So it's just kind of I love my life, man. It's going great. And I just wanted to get your interview in before I kind of fell off the face of the earth.
No, I appreciate it. Now I do have a couple questions for you after the show.
Okay.
Wrapping up the interview segment, I'm going to ask you one last hard-hitting question.
Okay. Hard away.
Like a Bill O'Reilly going on, I do it, like I said, I don't do the interviews late at night, so my brain is on sleep mode.
Yeah.
The factor, going on the record, when I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of me, and how do you feel about me now?
I didn't have an opinion of you. I actually was quite honored that you wanted to interview me. It's always an honor if someone wants to talk about your work and your opinions. I think you're doing great, and I still don't. Again, I believe that friendships take a while. It takes a while to get to know somebody.
Right.
So I still don't really have an opinion on you. I try not to judge people. Everybody on this planet is so special and so unique and has gifts to give to the world, and I always try to look for those gifts because I want some of that gift.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, you interviewing me is a gift. It's a total gift. I feel very fortunate and lucky.
No, I appreciate it. I'm very honored and privileged to have you on the show. And wrapping up the segment, I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it.